sound like a robot. Sounds like a robot. Robot. That's okay. What is all that vibrato? Okay, so hold on, we'll fix this. This is happening for sure, no matter what. Okay. Let's go down on the input level. Is that better or worse? Let's see, bad sound. It sounds terrible, okay. So let's see. It's hard to hear. Sounds like a robot. Okay. Hold on 1 second. I'll be right back. Okay, hold on 1 sec. We'll be right back. If I end the stream, can I return to it? Actually, let me go grab another mic. Okay, hold on. I'm going to get another mic, and we're going to get this sorted out really quick. Now the volume is too low. I think I had to get a new computer, and it's doing some stuff. Hold on 1 sec. Nobody's missed anything yet. We're just trying to figure out getting the sound right. Okay. Can't hear. Let's see. All right. So we're going to try a different mic and see if maybe we just go through this. Okay. So that's fine. All right. That's okay. Trying to figure this out. We tested it earlier and it seemed to be working. Careful, please. Let's see. I can understand every word. I did get a whole new computer just for this thing, and I even had like a guy come out and like improve whatever tier that's at. Can we go through the computer?
That's what I'm doing.
Okay.
It's not nuts.
All right. We're
better?
trying this. Okay. How does this sound? Does this sound better? Video quality is great. We are using the laptop. Perfect. Perfect. Yay. Okay. Yay. Thank you. I appreciate that. Oh my gosh, this is so stressful. Okay. The comments are going super bonkers. Oh my gosh. Okay. All right. So we are all here. This is so exciting. After that disaster that happened yesterday, we ended up going and having to get a brand new computer. We had somebody come out and fix the internet because it was going crazy. And so now it seems like we're doing good. Okay, yay, because I used something called Crowdcast earlier in the month, and there was like a cutoff on how many people could be tuned in at the same time, and so I just knew that wasn't going to work for this instance. So that was kind of the logic behind switching to this YouTube thing. And I'm just trying to think. So, why? Let's see. Hands moving? My hands? Let's see. Love your sweater. Thank you. It's a vintage sweater that I got on eBay. I'm constantly on eBay looking for weird old lady sweaters. It's sort of, I'm like a really, really old lady inside, and that's what I'm always trying to dress like. Hands moving. What? Okay, let's see. So I see voice is low at times, so maybe I'll pull the computer a little closer to myself so it picks that up. Let's see. Oh, let's see. Do you guys want to meet Vincent Price? That seems like a good place to start. There's a bit of a delay, so just so you guys know that I can't. Let's see. Okay. Let's see. So let's meet Vincent Price. He's such a poof. This is my little baby. Oh my goodness. I have four pets right now. I have Gertie, which is my dog. And I have Sergeant Fuzzy Balls, who is my little handicap kitty running around here somewhere. And then I have Werewolf, who's new. And then this little Tucker guy is the newest. And I'm sticking with just him on camera at the moment because I tried having like a few of them out and they were just playing with each other and going nuts and like pulling on the cord, and I didn't want to do that, so I could just see one of them like unplugging the whole thing and like everything going black. But anyway, he's so cute and ridiculous. He's just kind of been this really fun little thing. Okay, so let's see. Let's see. Skeleton moving. What? It's not moving. Let's see. Super. Isn't he the cutest? He's I'm half convinced he's not even a cat. Like I've never had like a fancy cat. This is my only fancy cat I've ever had. And he's just a ridiculous little thing. Look at you. I'm going to play with him a little bit. Poof. So his name is Vincent Price, but his name was almost Professor Poof, and so I kind of have just been calling him Poof. So you can call him anything you like. He responds to nothing. So anyway. Okay. So let's let's see. I just told you. Let's see. Okay, so should we talk about this raffle thing? It's not a raffle. I can't even do a drawing. First, let me talk about how frustrated I am that this is something we have to do. I hate contests. I hate anything competitive, really, just because I always lose them personally, and I think they're upsetting and they make people feel bad, and so that was why I figured a drawing was the nicest thing. And then somebody on a YouTube comment said like, oh, Patreon doesn't allow that, and so I researched it and then actually spoke with people at Patreon, and sure enough, they don't allow it. It's not legal or whatever, and I don't want to get in trouble, but it truthfully is the best way to give something away without hurting anybody's feelings. So I hate that I have to do a question. I hate that there has to be, if we were on the reverse end of this, I'm not good at tests or questions, and I don't type fast. So I would never win this thing is what I'm getting at. And what did I do? I've come up with a couple questions. There's only gonna be one. Let's see. Okay, good. So we're on the same page about, I don't think being competitive gets us further or makes people better artists. I just think the best situation for getting better is just practice and trying new things and challenging yourself, and feeling bad about yourself isn't a part of that. So I hate, again, how we're going to do this, but it's the only thing I could come up with very quickly for this month. But I plan on giving something away every month, and what I think I'm going to do is come up with a few like options basically, and put a poll on Patreon so everyone can discuss, like, you know, sort of what we think is the best way to do this in the future. I'm sorry, I'm very distracted with this little hamburger. He's so silly. He looks like a little potato. What are you doing? So anyway, so I said we would do this thing at around the 10-minute mark. So something that's happening that you guys should know is there is a delay. And when I did the Crowdcast thing, there wasn't a delay. So I could easily read comments, say something, and it happened like super fast, and it felt a little bit more interactive. And now if I say something, it's taking, I don't know, like 5 to 10 seconds to get to you. So I will ask, are we ready to do the question for this thing? And I'm going to have to wait 12 seconds before I can probably get your answer. You could do a quiz. That would be... Okay. You can't eat electrical cords. You little... Okay. Yes. Oh, you guys are nice. Okay. All right, so I'm seeing a lot of yeses. Yes, we are ready. So we are 12 minutes into this live stream. We have, it looks like, a good number of people tuned in. So I'm trying to think. I love this thing. I'm a little bit really sad about giving it away. I searched for so long for a really amazing and unique bird cage. And so when I found this, the plan was never to give it away. It was like, oh my God, this is my dream bird cage. It's so beautiful and elaborate, and I've never even seen one like it. So let's see, I'm seeing very lagging. Before I go on, can you guys hear me clearly? Is the video good? Sound-wise, everything seems to be okay. Let's see. Don't give it away. Okay. All right. So you guys can hear me good. Okay. So let me go back to talking about it. I really feel like you guys have like 1000% fully changed my life with the amount of people that have signed up for this. I'm not stressed about money every month, and I'm able to do so many amazingly cool things because of what you guys are doing for me. So I'm not going to be greedy and keep awesome stuff. And the truth is, I'm going to be doing something cool every month. And if I were to try to keep all of this stuff, my house would look insane. So this is going to go to somebody who I just know is going to love it and care about it. And that makes me happy. And I will continue looking on the internet for one for myself. So the question I'm going to be asking, and now we're 15 minutes into the live stream, I said within the first 10 to 15 minutes. So we're going to do it the way I would like you to answer in this live stream and not on the Patreon thread. Otherwise, on the Patreon thread, I can't look at both of them at the same time. So I have no way of checking who did it first. And on here, there's like this organized list of comments that I can easily go back to and find exactly who said the answer first. because a lot of people are going to say the answer first, or at least everyone's going to say the answer very quickly. It's a super easy answer, especially if you like some of the things that I like, which I'm pretty sure we're all on the same page with. Okay, so I'm going to make sure we're ready. I'm not seeing comments coming through, and they've been pouring through, so. Okay. All right. So I think we're ready. And the answer to the question is actually what I have named this guy. It's one of my favorite. Let's see. Chat is getting delayed, but video isn't. Okay. I'm gonna have to just do this and hope that it works out, and I will figure out a better way to do this in the future that isn't dependent on how fast you can type, because I think that's dumb. So not whoever wins it though. Congratulations. All right. So the answer to the question, in the movie Addams Family Values, what is the name of the baby? Somebody's gonna get it. Wait. It's gonna be coming here in like 5 seconds, so there's like a 12. Pubert. I see it. Okay. So Sarah Briggs. It looks like Sarah Briggs was the first. Okay. I'm going to go back. Make sure that I got that right. I am so sorry if I saw some. Let's see. No, wait. Hold on. If I got this wrong, I'm so sorry. Hold on. I shouldn't have said a name yet. Sarah Briggs. I'm sorry you said Pugsley. I saw that wrong. Mina Murray. It looks like Mina Murray won. I'm sorry, Sarah. I'm going to send you something. Don't kill me. I'll do something really nice for you, I promise. Okay, so I'm going to go back and I will find a way to contact you and we will deal with that. I'm so sorry I said the name wrong. Okay. All right. So I have no idea how I'm shipping this thing. It weighs so much. It's going to cost so much to ship, but whatever. I'm going to figure out a way to really, really safely package it. You get everything that is going on in here with the spiders and everything. So I will be shipping that out in just a couple days. So, thank you guys for being nice to Mina. Okay. All right. So Mina, I hope you have a place for this, and it should be really, really fun in your house. And like I said, it's so old. I can't even believe I got it for the price I got it, considering how old it is. That's just kind of incredible. So let's see. If anyone wants to go away now that this is done, you totally can. And let's do like a question and answer sort of segment, which I think is fun and less stressful than this like whole thing. So let's do that. And like I said, there is a delay. It's annoying, and it's going to take me a minute to get everybody's answers. So please feel free to throw questions at me, and I will go from there. Let's see. What is in store for October's episode? I'm actually not entirely sure right now. I have been going from the second that we launched this, and so I really haven't had too much time to really like sit down and go, I'm gonna do this now and this now. So I'm not entirely sure. I might there's the possibility that I'm doing something really big for Christmas, and I don't want to say what that is yet, but if it happens, it's going to be big and take up a bunch of my time. So I might end up doing kind of simpler projects for this month, but they'll be fun and awesome. And I don't know, anything Halloween related is super fun. Let's see. What is your favorite Halloween memory from your childhood? Um, it's funny. It's one of the reasons I'm so insane about Halloween is my parents weren't really that into Halloween. I was very much like the weird one that was so into all of this dark stuff, and they just kind of were like, they thought it was weird. And even to this day, I don't think my mom is like terribly crazy about Halloween. And neither is my dad, but I love it. So I'm trying to think. I dressed as a pumpkin, I think, when I was like 6 or 7, and that's like a fun memory I have. And we always had to we would take sleep. We were kind of white trash, and we took sleeping bags to go trick or treating. Which, by the way, if I were to go trick or treating today, I would take a sleeping bag probably. And so anyway, so that was kind of like a fun memory. I can remember being dressed up as this pumpkin, trick-or-treating with a sleeping bag, coming back and pouring it out and like going through everything. Let's see. Oh wait, someone says their answer came before. Let me. Okay. I'm going to have to, okay, so it won't let me go back right now, but just to be sure, I'm going to go back and review this to make sure I've got the right winner. I'm pretty sure I do, but if I don't, I'll correct it. And anyone's name that I've said over here will be getting something that's a terrible situation, but we'll see. Let's see. How old am I? I'm 38. I don't know how that happened, but it happened, and I'm pretty cool with it. I've kind of looked in my 30s for my whole life, I feel like. So I'm like, oh, I'm 38. Let's see. Everyone's saying they saw Minas first, so I'm hoping that's right. And it's easy enough to go back and like find and sort out. What is a day in your life like? It depends. If I'm working, which I kind of am most of the time, I wake up. I wake up early. I'm a morning person. I start bouncing around. I'm actually like an all the time person. I stay up really late. I wake up really early. I don't seem to need a ton of sleep. I wake up, I have my coffee. I start looking on the internet like every single person. Not terribly interesting. And then I just start figuring out fun things to do, or if I'm like in the middle of something, I just like go head on into it. Sometimes if I get really excited about something, I can't sleep, and so I'll just keep working and go nuts. So the days kind of go all over the place. I spend a lot of time with my mom. We go places together and do things. And yeah, that's like not terribly interesting. I wish it was. Let's see. What is your favorite Halloween movie or inspired movie? I love answering this question because you would think you would come up with like a movie title from like the 70s or the 80s when all of these just insanely, really, really good Halloween movies came out. And I've got to say, for me, the best Halloween movie ever made is Trick or Treat. It came out, I think, in 2007. And I wish they would keep making movies like this. It's like an anthology, or not an anthology. It's they've got like a bunch of intertwined stories going on in this one weird little Ohio town, and it's the best Halloween movie in existence, and I watch it probably 10 to 15 times every October. Let's see. Please do a house tour. Okay, I will do that. That's cool. I love that. Okay. Let's see. Are they real? My chest? Yes. I don't know. Do you keep a journal? I don't. I have really, really, really bad handwriting. And so if I were to keep a journal, no one would ever be able to read it, including myself. So that is my logic for that. How do you keep your kittens out of your messier projects? It's almost impossible. So if I'm doing a baking thing where, all right, I'm just going to be real with you. If no one's going to eat that baking thing, and I know for certain no one will be, I'm not that crazy. But if there's any possibility that somebody's going to be eating something, I keep all of my animals shut away, and I have to clean the whole kitchen and surrounding areas probably like 3 to 4 times, just to make sure that there is absolutely no possibility of hair getting into the food, which is like my greatest fear when you're making food for other people, because I don't know, if somebody gave me a cupcake and there was a cat hair on it, I'd eat it. I don't care. But I would never want that to happen to somebody who got something from me. So, yeah, that's kind of, I don't for the most part. Do you ever groom your pets? I should. I mean, I have a person for that, the guy behind the camera. Who is your friend next to you? Okay, so that is Luann Herman. Her and her husband moved in. We bought this house in 2014. They moved in the next year and did all of this cool stuff. And, you know, I've had some neighbor experiences, not all very good. And for some miraculous reason, these incredible, awesome people moved in next door. And I think she's like one of my best friends. So we like text like every day. We talk all the time. She stops over. Like, she's just this amazing, awesome person. And she's like a horticulture expert. And so I'm really stupid with plants. I kill everything. So she actually came and like helped me figure out where to plant everything. So it's kind of fun to be friends with somebody who has like a totally unique skill set to you and that you don't understand. So we have that in common. She loves holidays. So we just have tons in common. Tell us about the Winchester ghost. Should I get into the Winchester story? Okay. I'm gonna get comfortable so I can tell you about this. Okay. So, let's see. Just want to make sure you guys want to hear the Winchester story before I get into that. Okay. Just keep your hands. Okay. I just told you. Okay. Okay. So the Winchester story. Let me talk a little bit about that project. I did not know what I was getting into with that. As far as they approached me to do this project, and I was like, and they offered a good amount, and I was like, okay, so I've got to make it just insanely cool. And so I came up with a concept that was so difficult, and also they're so far away from me that figuring out how, I figuring out how I was going to get that stuff up there was such a challenge. And so I didn't know anything really about the Winchester house before they reached out, other than I knew of the house. I bought the movie when it came out. And so it was like a household name, but I was not familiar with it. And so I went up there and I started asking employees, like, have you had experiences? And by the way, I should preface this by saying I love the people that work there. And I mean, I don't even want to say just numbers, but a guy named Larry and someone named Kelly and Natalie, I really fell in love with the people that work there. I wanted to take them home with me. So it was an amazingly cool experience, and they were so rad and nice. So the experience that I had there, I'm not really a ghost person, if I'm being honest. I have a hard time. I just figure, like, if there were ghosts, there would be like dinosaur ghosts, like, all over the place. So I don't know. But I'm also I'm hopeful of who knows what. I don't think we have much of an idea of a lot of things. So I'm crossing my fingers that maybe there's ghosts, or maybe there's something. I'm sure there's some weird stuff going on. So anyway, I've never really had, like, what I would call a ghost experience in my life. But I went to the Winchester house, and I was working, I should say, until I went to this house. I went to this house, and I was working for maybe, like, I don't know, like a week into it, and I was working all through the night in some instances. And at one point, and it was a little scary, like, you're at this house by yourself, really. There was one security guard wandering around. And one of the nights at about 2 a.m. in the morning, I was working on, can I tell a story? Keep your hands where I can see them. Fine. So anyway, 2 a.m. in the morning, I was just working on this thing, and again, I'm gonna sound like I'm nuts, and that's cool. Maybe it was something weird in my brain. Maybe brains do weird things. I don't know. But it was an actual experience that I had, and it was real from my perspective. So I was piping away at something, and suddenly all of the hairs on the back of my neck stood up, and on my arms too. And I just felt this really strong feeling of the house was happy I was there, and I was safe there. And it just, now I don't even know if it was Sarah Winchester or whatever, but it was just this really strong feeling throughout me of that they were happy, that this place was happy. So I don't know, maybe there's magnets underneath the foundation, I don't know, but it was really cool, and I never was afraid again. And I was there, like, in the middle of the night, wandering around by myself throughout the house, the property, and was never afraid. So it was amazingly cool. So that's my weird Winchester story. I'm sure everybody's got something weird, but it's a beautiful place, and you should go there if you haven't. Okay. Let's see. Will you do a materials list for the bat and the decorations? Absolutely. That is something I am so sorry I have not been on top of posting recipes for the gingerbread. But I will be posting all of that stuff. I think starting tomorrow, I have a couple days to, like, breathe for a second. And I think that's when I'll flesh all that stuff out and post that. So I apologize. I haven't gotten that out there. Let's see. Can you please do something for Dios dos Muertos? I would love that. Oh my God. I totally love that idea. I don't know. Yeah, I'm going to research that. That sounds fun. I want to know how you kept it all together when acting with Rose. I didn't every time. So I didn't break too many times, but there was one moment, and if you go back and watch, it's the third episode, it's the date episode, I was bringing out this chicken pot pie and leaning over Adam Mayfield, who is Norman, and I was setting it down. And just before that scene, like literally right before that happened, um, Rose had said a line about, like, I think Rankle had said something like, um, watch out, she's got like an incurable case of ringworm. And she says in like the most sultry voice, like on earth, she's just like, it's resistant to antibiotics. So she's like basically like sexually bragging about how like unstoppable her venereal diseases are. And I almost like spit. Like I just started laughing. I almost dropped the chicken pot pie on Adam. But and it was one of those moments that like we were shooting, so you like have to keep going. And the minute I started laughing, it was so almost impossible not to laugh every single time. So, so yeah. Do I like Disney? I love Disney, of course. Do you miss Rose? Of course. I don't know. I'm praying that something happens and that is able to come back at some point. I feel like she is too magical of a character to just be gone. So, I don't know. Even if they gave her her own spin-off show, I wouldn't even be bummed about that. I would just like to see her again. Let's see. What is your skincare routine? Not interesting. I'm kind of I'm not a really fancy person, if I'm being honest. I buy most of my cosmetics at the drugstore, and then occasionally I go to Sephora and I splurge on fancy stuff. But oil of Olay stuff, I wash my face with that and use that. I always wear SPF like every day, so not terribly interesting. Let's see. Is your husband into spooky things? Totally. That's actually, I mean, that's one of the greatest, I would say the things I like about him the very most are he's into holidays a lot. And he's really into the same kind of movies I'm into. So that kind of common ground like gives us a lot of entertainment together. How long did it take you to get your house to where it is today? That's a really good question. I'm going to post what this house looked like when I bought it, and it was just white walls, white carpet, white everything. They had just covered everything that was charming and beautiful about it. And so peeling all of that back, I want to say I was able to get it looking like a pretty neat looking place within 6 months. But then honest to gosh, it took me, it's like each of these little antique things costs money. So like, it takes you a while to sort of like be able to afford that thing and that thing. So it's kind of been like cumulative. And I want to say right now, so 5 years, I've been in this house 5 years, and right now I'm happy with it. So it took me 5 years. How much of a project do you film to make an episode? How much of a project do you film? Like, so Grant, I love Grant, the husband. He's so good at all sorts of cool things. But I do a number of the filming things, like some of the finished shots. He's nice. He says I look pretty all the time, but I know that's not true. So I have to get kind of involved with making sure the angles are all just right. So it's kind of like, I would say he's doing a lot of it. I'm doing some of it. Maybe he's doing 65, maybe more. He's fine. This is more. Okay, fine. You're going to get me in trouble. Let's see. You want to talk about Dita. I did talk about Dita in the last thing. I actually think I want to have Dita come in for an episode of something. And I just texted her. It was just her birthday last week. And so whatchamacallit. So I'm going to do something really fun with her. I just think the world of her. How was it being on Cupcake Wars? It was a nightmare. So talk about that. I don't know. Is that what the kids are calling it? Spilling the tea? I think I'm cool with that expression. So that was the first time I met Dita. She had reached out to me to see if I would go on this celebrity Cupcake Wars, and she was the celebrity. I was not the celebrity. I was like her assistant, and I don't like reality shows personally. And so I had been hesitant about doing anything like that, but I just absolutely love her, and if she asked me to sell a kidney on the black market, I probably would. She wouldn't, though. She's very classy. So anyway, so we had a few phone calls, and then we met on the day of that shoot for Cupcake Wars. And basically, I don't know. I don't want to get in trouble, but basically, I think it was rigged against us. And I don't generally think that. I'm not a conspiracy person, but they were doing stuff. So basically, it was all the strings were being pulled, and we lost first. And it was like, I know how to make cupcakes. I can make cupcakes really good. I'm not overly confident about too many things, but cupcakes I can handle. So anyway, we lost. It was annoying. So that was that experience. I don't like losing. That's why I don't like competition. It makes me feel bad. Let's see. Was the Winchester gingerbread house your hardest project? I would say it's right there at the top of the list, and the very hardest thing I've ever done, I think it was decorating my parents' house last Halloween, because I covered the entire surface of the house, shingle by shingle. And I talked about that a little bit in the last one, and it was a pain. I don't ever want to do that again to that extent. What's your favorite Vincent Price movie? The House of Usher, or House of Usher. I just love the mood of it. I love him so much. I'm trying to think. The Haunting of Hill, or The House on Haunted Hill, is also an amazing one. And then Edward Scissorhands, and then even Michael Jackson's Thriller. I just really, oh my God, I just feel like I love him. He's my dream man. What music do you listen to while you work? I did talk about this in the last one. A lot of Gunship. That's my favorite band, and it's been my favorite band for probably a year and a half, maybe 2 years. And I also listen to Audible books. So true crime, murder stuff. The Good Nurse is a really, really good one if you want to be horrified and never go to the hospital again. Let's see. Have any of your own creations scared or startled you? Yeah, those spiders. Whenever I make spiders, it's weird. I love spiders. I never would hurt a spider. But they creep me out. So I think that's just a natural reaction. I have the death mask of Vincent Price. Do you want to be friends? Let's be friends. Let's see. Did you know about the petition for the show and getting a second season? I do know about that petition. And I feel like if I were to promote something like that, it would hinder anything from happening again, because you don't want to get anything back by begging for it or getting angry about it. So you just kind of have to sit back and hope that it sort of manifests itself. So I love that people want it back. I personally want it back. What classic movies do you like to watch? The Ghost and Mrs. Muir is one of my absolute ultimate all-time favorites. I watched that a lot. I love Gene Tierney and Rex Harrison. And the soundtrack, Bernard Herrmann is my absolute favorite musical composer. He did so many things. Alfred Hitchcock stuff, The Ghost of Mrs. Muir. He did Twilight Zone stuff. He's just incredible. Did you study in college? No, I talked about this in the last one. I'm a high school dropout. I'm sorry. Let's see. Did you make your unicorn sweater? No, that was one of those eBay purchases. I watch the Golden Girls like every night before going to bed. I might have mentioned that in the last episode too. But I love dressing like the Golden Girls, so I'm always looking for Golden Girls-esque kind of clothes. Do you listen to My Favorite Murder podcast? I've listened to it, and I'm actually friends with Georgia. And it's amazing. I love her. I love that whole thing. Can you make a sewing episode? Yes, I'm actually going to make an episode where I show you how to make a dress form from pretty normal stuff you can get around, and then how to make a dress on that from scratch with no pattern. So that's happening. It's going to be fun too. Let's see. Which Golden Girl are you? I'm probably a Dorothy. I want to say I'm never mean to anybody though. So I'm probably all of them, mostly Rose. I think I'm a Rose. That's actually, just so you know, that's who Rose from our show is named after. Because I don't even know if I could say I have a favorite Golden Girl, but Rose is up there. But I really want to be Blanche. I love Blanche. What's your favorite type of craft? It changes all the time, so it goes from one thing to another thing. At the moment, if I had to pick one that I was just going to do for the rest of forever, I really am into woodworking. I had never really done it before this year, and it's super fun. It's super forgiving, I feel like, and it's just awesome. I really, really love it. It's a blast. Where can we mail you packages? I would so love to give out an address. I don't want anyone to feel like they have to. Let me look into that. I don't know. I just, like I said, I love that you guys are supporting me. That, for me, that's enough. But if you want to send me old stuff too, I don't know. How about I love old stuff? My name is Rose, after your Rose. Ooh, I love that. What We Do in the Shadows, I've seen it, and oh my god, I love it. And didn't they make a TV show of it? I wanna watch that. I haven't watched that. Oh my god, Rue McClanahan's sister was one of my mom's professors. Oh, you're so lucky to have any kind of connection to her. Whatchamacallit, when my husband dies, I'm going to blanch it up. Would you consider doing an Edgar Allan Poe project? Absolutely. And if I was, it would be a House of Usher themed project. But there's quite a bit to tap into there too. So, a P.O. box. I have a P.O. box, so I will put that up somehow, without being too creepy. But make sure, if you do send something, make sure you send a return address, because I want to be able to return the favor. If you want to get into woodworking, where would you start? That's a good question. Get a Dremel tool. You can use it for everything. I talk about Dremel tools constantly, but it's because they're just so insanely amazing. So get a Dremel tool. You just can't go wrong with that. They accomplish everything. Let's see. What is the least spooky part of your personality? Ooh, that's a good question. The least spooky part? I don't know. I'm kind of creepy, like through and through. I like kittens, and puppies. I don't know if that's terribly spooky sounding. Which, by the way, where did my little beef go? Let's see. Come here. So I almost named him Pubert. I've been trying to name an animal Pubert for like 5 years and nobody will let me because that's my favorite name. And so that's why that was the question. And then out of curiosity, do you guys want to know what the question was also going to be? It was a much harder question. But it was my backup basically. So if you want to know what the secondary question could have been, let me know here. Who's in the portrait behind you? Me. That's me. I did this like ancestor thing where I recreated a bunch of pictures of my ancestors, and this was one I did of my great maybe great grandmother from 200 years ago, and my mom has the original of who I'm dressed as at her house, and she said I could have it, but I'm waiting to I want to buy a house back east, like a big old creepy rundown house, and so I'm waiting to take any cool artifacts like that until I have like a really secure place. Yes, you guys want to know what the second question was. This is going to be a question that is going to make a very small fraction of people happy, and most other people will just go, huh? Okay, I'm glad you didn't ask that. I was going to ask, what is the last name of the murderous family that moves in next door to Tom Hanks in The Burbs? If you know the answer, give me the answer, and we will see how that would have gone over, because I don't think that would have gone over very well. Let's see. Have you restored a car? I totally want to. That's sort of like my my dream. So I have like a few. The Clopex. Oh my god, somebody got it. Okay, Clopex. So that was, yep, you got it right. Clopex. Okay, a lot of people are getting that. All right, well, maybe that could have been it too. So, all right. Well, that was almost the question. I think I want to do something next time that's less trivia related. I just feel like I said, I'm not good at trivia at all. So I want to do something fair, and also I'm aware that like a bunch of people weren't able to tune in. So it almost seems like I want to remove that time pressure issue. So I don't know. Let's figure that out. So an old car, let me talk about that a little bit. That is totally something I want. It's too big of a splurge for me at the moment. But at some point I would love to get, I would really, really like to get a 1957 Plymouth Fury. That's the car Christine from Stephen King's book Christine. And I also love, I think it's a 1955 Chevy Nomad wagon. I think it's a Chevy. I'm not sure about that. But it's a Nomad, and it's a wagon. And so one day, I don't know. We'll see. Let's see. Do you have any day job advice for creatives? I would say try to like work in as much as you can. Like just try. It's so hard. It's such an annoying job. You know what? I'm not a good person to ask that for, because I did not do very well in an office environment. Before this whole thing started, I was a secretary, and a very bad one. And I wasn't good at incorporating fun, creative things. I would sometimes dress a little strangely, and like it just, I don't know that it went over well, so I don't know. I wish I had a better answer for that. Let's see. It's the cat. A little kitty. Little Vincent, come back over here. Okay. Do you get your clothes mostly from eBay? The places that I go, so there's a place called Play Clothes Vintage in Burbank, California. And I have a lot of luck finding things that fit well there. I wish I had more time to make everything, but the truth is, it takes a while. So eBay mostly, and then I go to Play Clothes Vintage a lot, and so yeah. What is the weirdest thing you own? I don't know if I'd go the weirdest, but it's one of my very, very favorites. Last year I did this creepy old-timey picnic, and I found a picnic basket on eBay, and I think I got it for like $300 or $400, something like that, which is a lot. But it is a phonograph and a picnic basket, so it's like a vintage wind up. It was in beautiful condition. Somebody just got it from an estate sale and threw it on there, and I got it, and you can't find another one like it out there, or at least I haven't been able to. And so it is carefully put away in this house, but when I get my dream house, that's going to be something that is very prominently displayed. Let's see. How often do you get frustrated or stressed during a project? Every time I do a project. I wish I wasn't. I mean, one day maybe I'll be perfect, but I'm definitely not now. I get super stressed out doing these types of projects. They are stressful. There's a lot of things to troubleshoot and figure out. Stuff that, like what happened yesterday with the live stream not working, that stuff kind of causes me, I'm an anxiety-ridden person, unfortunately, so I get upset. But I try not to get upset at other people, and usually it's just something that you just got to be patient with, but a lot is the answer. I wish it wasn't. Well, I think I want to wrap this up just because we've been going an hour, and I want to keep lots of fun stuff for next month, and if I just talk forever, I'll run out of things interesting to talk about. So I will be back next month, and we will be doing some really, really fun things. I might possibly be going to Salem, Massachusetts for Halloween this year. I'm not sure. But if I do, I would love to organize some sort of like meetup or something if anybody's around there. So let's figure out something cool, and this is going to be such a fun October. If I didn't get to your question, feel free to like message me on Patreon, and I'll see if I can't get to you. Thanks so much. I'll see you guys soon.